Hey guys, Pete here. Today I'm going to do a general video about the importance of prophecy in the A Song of Ice and Fire novels that the TV show Game of Thrones is based on. I have plans to make videos that look into individual prophecies in the coming months while Game of Thrones is on break, so I wanted to make this first as a primer. It will contain spoilers for everything related to the Game of Thrones show through season 6 and the A Song of Ice and Fire books through Dance with Dragons, but that said, it's more food for thought about a way to think about prophecy than it gives away big plot points spoiler. So prophecy is a word that by definition means a statement that something will happen in the future. It can also mean something specifically tied to a prophet, which in this case would mean something will happen because it is the will of a divinity. Common theme with prophecy is that it is somewhat vague and open for interpretation. It's a statement that something will happen in the future, but the exact date, time, persons involved, and so on aren't exactly known. If the prophecy is related to divine will and happens to be specific and doesn't come true, there is always wiggle room to say that the fault lies with the interpreter or prophet rather than the actual divinity. For a real world example of this, when I was a teenager, I used to go downtown to hang around a record store. In the summertime especially, I went there several times a week. It was in a busy urban place with lots of foot traffic, and at one of the street corners there was a woman who would show up and warn everyone that they needed to go inside their homes for 3 days. My friends and I called her the 3 days lady because that's what she basically always said. 3 days, 3 days. Her prophecy warned that everyone needed to go home and stay there to repent and get right with God before the coming judgment day. Her prophecy never changed. Every day the world was 3 days away from ending, so to speak. She was there for years and may still do it now for all that I know, but I bring it up to point out that if you happen to be someone who encountered her for the first time 3 days before an actual apocalyptic event, you might spend the moment right before your destruction believing that her prophecy had come true. When I first started reading the books, my thoughts on the prophecy I came across were that it was just a distraction, and I didn't think any of the ones we learned would come true. This was backed up by one of the first ones we hear, that Daenerys' unborn son Rhaego would turn out to be the stallion that mounts the world. It's a prophecy that is quickly disproven when Dany agrees to a blood magic ritual with Mirri Maz Duur, after which Rhaego dies in the womb. Being somewhat cynical by nature, this was all the evidence I needed to say that prophecy was nothing more than a sideshow. I mean, I couldn't dispute that this world was different than ours since magic exists. Not long after the stallion that mounts the world theory is discredited, Dany walks into her husband's funeral pyre, the one that she happened to tie Mirri Maz Duur to, and where Mirri Maz Duur is actually burning alive, and where she also placed her 3 dragon eggs. At the end, Daenerys emerges unburnt with 3 newly hatched dragons, which is a feat that no one has really been able to do for like over 150 years. She hatched dragons. That's pretty magical, and if that isn't enough, think about the shadow baby Melisandre conjured up. This wasn't an illusion or a trick. She literally gave birth to a shadow that existed in the world long enough to go over and kill Renly Baratheon. So yeah, magic exists in this world and it can't really be explained away. This led to my point of view being something like, okay, this is a world like ours, but it also has magic, which is a kind of extra dimension or force of nature. I figured that all these religions that have sprung up were similar to the ones in our world. They are there to offer answers to people who live in a world where a lot of things happen that just don't make sense, and this would just then extend to magical stuff as well. I was happy looking at it this way, and while I still found it interesting to look at the prophecies, I didn't think any of them were included because they would eventually be fulfilled. Over time I ran into a problem with Melisandre, and I think she is the best example we can use to understand what the importance of these prophecies really is. Melisandre is a red priestess who follows the religion of R'hllor, who is the Lord of Light. She has visions while staring into flames, and she is famous for misinterpreting them. The problem is that pretty much everything she sees actually comes true in the stories, so she has access to something, and even though she isn't always spot on about the details, the visions she has access to are prophetic. Hers isn't the only case where this is true, but I use her for the example because she's a well-known character. You could also look at the Ghost of Highheart, Maggie the Frog, or Jojen's Green Dreams for similar evidence. For a specific event that we all remember, let's look at Melisandre and Stannis burning the leeches. The details are slightly different, but we see this in the book and on the show. Melisandre says she needs king's blood, so she gets some by leeching one of Robert's bastards. The leeches are tossed into the flames with the intent of causing Balon Greyjoy, Joffrey Baratheon, and Robb Stark to all die. All of these things come true, which leads Stannis to believe that not only can Melisandre see the future, but she can also perform magic that can lead to him getting things that he wants to happen. What's interesting about this example is that as readers or viewers, we have much more information than Stannis does. We know that all of those events would have happened anyways, and that Melisandre didn't actually cause them to happen at all. What's more likely is that the power we know she has, being able to see things that will happen in the future, led her her to already know about these deaths and that they were going to happen. This put her in a position to control Stannis by setting up the burning, knowing that his wishes would come true. So this all leads me to two conclusions related to prophecy in A Song of Ice and Fire and A Game of Thrones. The first is that more often than not, prophecy is real, and while it will likely be misinterpreted by everyone involved, the underlying events will come to pass. Basically, it's there for a reason, and it shouldn't be discounted. A quick example of this is Maggie the Frog telling Cersei her future. The things that she told her have all so far come true, and no one else besides her knows about the prophecy, but she has been letting it guide her decision-making process all along. The second conclusion is that the real importance of prophecy in this world is just that. While it's likely to come true, without a doubt it will shape major events, and the way major character stories develop. You don't have to look further than Robert's Rebellion for evidence of this. Rhaegar Targaryen was obsessed with the prince that was promised prophecy, and it led him to run off with Lyanna Stark. This action led to the realm going to war, and the Targaryens ultimately losing the Iron Throne. In the end, it doesn't matter if the prophecy is fulfilled. What matters is that Rhaegar believed in it to the point of making decisions that change things forever. Stannis does this through Melisandre, Cersei does this through the Maggie prophecy, and Daenerys does this in relation to Quaithe and her House of the Undying experience. Even if you disagree with my conclusions, I think you'll be able to agree that prophecy is important, and not to mention fun and interesting to deconstruct. I mean, people are always coming up with compelling new theories based on the open-ended nature of it all. We get it wrong just like the characters in the books get it wrong, and it's just really like a win-win. Anyways, I hope this gives you something to think about, and I hope you leave a comment and let me know what you think. Do you think that, like, say, the Azor Ahai theory is going to come true, or do you think it doesn't matter because it's really going to shape the end of the series either way? As mentioned, I'll be adding regular prophecy videos over time, so subscribe to my channel and join the conversation. I also have a giveaway going on for when I hit 18,000 subscribers. I'm giving away a copy of a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment in the video. So let me know what your favorite prophecy is, or if you think prophecy's all bull, or who do you think Azor Ahai is, whatever. Just leave a comment and you'll have a chance to win. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.